Joint Tax Board and Federal Inland Revenue Service commences full-scale enforcement on defaulters. Shares in the Asia Pacific were higher on Wednesday as China released trade data. Nigeria's crude production averaged 1.238 million barrels per day in June, says OPEC. This is Business Express on the network service of the NTA, and we are reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. Good to have you join us. The program is Business Express. I will start by telling you that the federal government of Nigeria, through the Federal Ministry of Finance, the Joint Tax Board, in collaboration with the Federal Inland Revenue Service, is commencing an enforcement exercise on defaulting taxpayers. The Executive Chairman FIRS, Mohammed Nami, says full-scale enforcement exercise, including prosecution of offenders who did not take advantage of the scheme's voluntary assets and income declaration scheme and pay their taxes due on them, and in turn obtain amnesty from prosecution, among other benefits, for a 12-month period from the 1st of July 2017 are to pay for damages. This post-verdicts enforcement and prosecution exercise is coming on the heels of data from the National Bureau of Statistics says over 68 million businesses were active in Nigeria, while less than 20 million of these were active taxpayers. Waste such as pure water, sachet, has continued to be a challenge for the environment, but continued creativity and innovation is providing major solutions to addressing these environmental challenges and also turning it to wealth. That's our talking point on the program. Joining me is Adejoke Lasisi. Adejoke, if you are with me, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Well, let's start this way. Can you take us through how you discovered solutions to plastics such as used sachet water?
All right. So what actually happened was that it was through the problem that we have in my community. You know, most of all these ideas don't just come like that and you just start doing something, except maybe you say that, okay, it's causing a problem in your community. So in my community, you know, many people just dump waste on the streets, in the drainage. Some people go to the extent of burning these wastes. And so I thought of it that, okay, what can we do to make sure that these wastes are not something that we have to go and be dumping them in dump sites, or they don't have to end up in the river or on the landfill, but at the same time create economic impact from it. So that when we convert these wastes into valuables, it's going to be a win-win, you know, the community gets something to do, especially women and girls. At the same time, we'll be able to have a cleaner environment. And that's why I started using the weaving skill that I've acquired from my mom, which is the weaving of ashoke. Then I started using the process to now start the weaving of the pure water sachets and used clothes into variable products.
Wow, that is more like meeting a need. Then tell us about the products that you have been able to make from this used sachet packaged water, and do they have any economic value?
Yes. So the products that we make at the moment from the pure water sachets. We make bags, shoes, especially school bags for children because we thought of okay, how can we make make it have social impact, not just the environmental impact now. That students can actually get an affordable and a very good bag to take to school. And we also made some conference bags too, like the Ministry of Environment to make it for them. They put all their conference materials. So a lot of things that we didn't even know that we could make from it. And recently we were one of the 6 selected globally for a challenge the British Council. So we were asked to make some design. The design we came up with, like table mat, table runner. So a lot of things that we actually do from this, and the economic benefit is actually much because now we are selling some of our products not just in Nigeria, but to abroad as well. You know, when you collect those dollars and you come here, so it actually makes sense more. So it's actually like it has all the impact: environmental impact, social impact, the economic impact. So the 3 P's are actually like stable with this here. Thank you.
Now you've talked about the dollars, your products getting opportunity to leave the country. You're talking about exports, and you're getting some FID or FDIs to it. How about the environmental aspect of it? Is this innovation helping environmental sustainability?
Yes, it is because as in just the space of 2 years, we've been able to take off about 148,000 kg of waste from the landfill to be able to recover them, and we've been able to employ 16 people. We've been able to we've talked to over 6,000 students and community members across Oyo State in order to tell them, create awareness to let them understand the need of properly disposing our waste and for a cleaner environment. You know what is going to have the impact it's going to have on our health. So we've actually made an impact, and we continue, it's a continual process here.
Okay, now, and can you tell us about your journey to the Innovation Fellowship for aspiring inventors and researchers, talking about the iFair? What did you find out there? How is your experience in iFair helping you possibly step up or scale up your business?
Yeah, iFair is just, to me, it's a whole community. It's a family on its own. It's a total package to me. Because, there are some programs that when you go for some program, it's just, they just teach you about the entrepreneurship area side, or they teach you about the business side, they teach you about, but for iFair, it's just a complete package where we're talking about the business side of it, we're helped with, especially with the awareness, coming up with our solutions, because it's just one of the things there, okay, that there's this challenge that we're having presently in our business, and we believe that
oh, wow.
So they actually helped me to create that, as I said. So it was really a good one for me.
Okay, before I let you go, can you tell us any collaborations on scaling up much more like as the dollar is coming in? Are you planning any collaborations?
Yes, we have some collaborations. We are planning some collaborations now, even in some other countries, Sierra Leone, Uganda, they want us to partner with them. And then we are hoping that our federal government will probably do something because the organization we are partnering with in Togo, they've already submitted the proposal, and their government has said that, okay, from the pure water sachet, 1 million bags to be made and will be donated to schools, especially students that don't have, to use it to support students to school. So I hopefully that our government can actually do that, and, this will not just only create opportunity for Nigerians, but, take up this waste that we keep generating on a daily basis. Yeah. Thank you so much.
How about the environmental refuse collection in your state? Are you partnering with them? Any local partnership to ensure you actually get this waste off the streets, then the processing value chain?
Yes, presently we are partnering with them. At the same time, we try as much as possible to get this waste from the primary source, because that is the best way of recovering this waste. Because it's not that we cannot use them when they're already on the landfill or something, but why let it get to that stage? Why do we have to throw it down and pick it up? Why not make sure that, okay, there's the way that we segregate them and it goes to the right channel? So these are the things that we keep going around and we don't try to go on the need, so that by the time we collect this, it makes it even much easier for us to be able to convert them and process them into products.
Well, thank you so very much, Adejoke Lasisi, for sharing your thoughts and ideas on this particular innovation with us at this particular point in time.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Moving on, Nigeria's Senate has started a legislative process of completing the federal government drive towards ensuring steady and affordable energy in the country. To this end, the Senate Committee on Science and Technology held a bilateral meeting with the International Energy Charter. Brussels, Belgium. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
It is a very remarkable choice for a country which has natural resources.
This is the Secretary General of the International Energy Charter explaining why the technical, economic and social solutions are required for Nigeria to achieve proper energy transition.
Keep in mind that the secret of the success to come to climate neutrality will be energy and climate policy continuity. Keep this continuity from government to government is the secret.
We've had a very successful summit. Discussions were held on investment challenges for greening the economy.
Senate Committee Chairman Ninian Ekunife said the target and vision mentioned by the Secretary General are in line with the focus of the National Assembly.
We will do everything possible to ensure that Nigeria becomes a signatory to this very important bill, very important charter.
The committee chairman also assured of commitment to ensure a strategic energy efficiency process that guarantees secured investment. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu.
All Nigerian banks can absorb up to $6 billion of credit losses without breaching minimum regulatory requirements for capital adequacy ratio, says Fitch Ratings, a global provider of credit ratings. This implies that the banks are well capitalized and capable of absorbing loan losses. A loan loss provision is a cash reserve a bank creates to cover problem loans that are unlikely to see repayment. Last year, the Central Bank of Nigeria, as part of its efforts to enhance the resilience of deposit money banks and the Nigerian banking system, sets out criteria that banks' capital instruments must meet to be eligible for regulatory purposes as per the Basel 111 standards. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, Nigeria's solar companies are seeing a surge in demand for mini-grids and equipment as businesses in Africa's biggest oil producer look for alternative power sources as the cost of diesel soars locally due to rising global oil prices. Reuters reports that supply constraints could, however, hamper the ability to capitalize on the trend, with some saying they have begun to turn away customers because they are unable to meet demand. Nigeria, Africa's largest economy with a population of more than 200 million people, has installed electricity capacity of 12,500 megawatts, but the national grid only provides 4,000 megawatts at peak, leaving businesses and citizens heavily reliant on diesel-powered generators. The price of diesel, not subsidized like petrol, has nearly tripled to 800 naira a litre. Most of the increase came in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Kano State government is creating conducive environments for the promotion of agricultural activities at a profitable venture without stress, but with high efficiency through the provision of fertilizer applicator, a state-of-the-art implement which assists farmers in modern method of fertilizer application. Yahanazu Hassan reports that the implement saves 40% of loss of nutrient content of fertilizer compared to traditional method.
Poor seeds, poor agronomic practices and the use of traditional implements have over the years remained triple triggers to a tragedy of low yields and growing inefficiency among farmers in Nigeria. The narrative, according to researchers, is gradually changing in the country thanks to concerted efforts by government and their development partners. This is the case with the Kano Agro-Pastoral Development Project, supported by Islamic Development Bank and the Lives and Livelihoods Funds, which within 2 years of implementation has supported thousands of farmers with inputs, simple implements and training.
They have changed their farming pattern, their production has increased. In terms of value addition, a lot of enterprise centers have now been established across the local governments where we are working.
These stakeholders are here as witnesses to these trenches of inputs procured for distribution to farmers across the 44 local government areas of the state.
Actually imported some, but our fabricators in Nigeria, local fabricators, can fabricate much better than this.
Satisfied with the development, the Regional Director, Communications Ethiopia Tracer, said Sasakawa Africa will continue to train extension agents on better agronomic practices. In Kano, Yahana Hassan.
The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, says Nigeria's crude oil production increased to an average of 1.238 million barrels per day in June 2022. OPEC made this known in its oil market report for July 2022. The report says the figure showed an increase of 5,000 barrels per day when compared to the 1.233 million barrels produced averagely in the month of May 2022. The report also says despite the improvement in fossil fuels prices, the short-term economic outlook for Nigeria was clouded by high inflation, which had reduced private sector optimism and weakened consumer spending. And still on oil, oil edged up on Wednesday, a day after settling below $100 a barrel for the first time since April, and gains were limited by a U.S. supply report showing a rise in inventories and caution ahead of the U.S. inflation data. Despite a tight fiscal oil market, investors have sold oil futures on worries that aggressive rate hikes to stem inflation will slow economic growth and hit oil demand. Prices fell by more than 7% on Tuesday in volatile trade. Brent crude was up 64 cents at $100.13 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude gained 74 cents to $96.58 a barrel. Let's now see price of other commodities. And on the stock market, investors are not smiling home on the first day of trading this week. The NGX All Share Index depreciated this Wednesday to close at 51,390.25 basis points. Market capitalization dropped to 27.713 trillion naira. 198.8 million shares exchanged hands by investors on the floor of the exchange, valued at 2.181 billion naira. Guarantee, Jopol Gold and UBA were the top traders in terms of volume and value. Let's now see Global Stocks Update with Basede Abel.
Hello and welcome to the global market. The U.S. reading expected this Wednesday could prompt the Federal Reserve to hike interest rates by another 75 basis points during this month's meeting, and this may affect markets. Stock futures in the U.S. rose slightly Wednesday as investors await the key inflation report. Futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 61 points or 0.2%. S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 also are on the positive lane. European stocks traded lower early Wednesday, extending losses seen in previous sessions this week as investors prepare for the latest inflation data from the United States. DAX dipped 0.74%, FTSE 0.70%, and CAC 40 also depreciated 0.57%. Shares in Asia Pacific were higher as China released trade data and the Bank of Korea and Reserve Bank of New Zealand hiked rates. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index gave up earlier gains to close at 0.22% down at 20,797.95. Japan's Nikkei rose 0.54% across 26,478.77, and the Shanghai Composite also topped 0.09% at 3,284.29. The global business trend also applied to African markets with mixed performance, pending the outcome from the U.S. Federal Reserve. Tunisia and Morocco indices posted gains. That's the global market report. I am Basede Abel.
Thank you, Basede. And this is where we end this episode of the program. Don't forget, you can access all previous episodes on YouTube. Join us again on Thursday at 9:30 a.m. for another episode.